Hello, this is Retire with James. I'm Jim. Welcome. I'm here to talk to you about retirement. Not financial planning. That's not what this video is about at all. There are many videos out there on YouTube that can help you with your financial planning. What I'm here to help you with is your strategy, your ideas, your plans about retirement. If you're not yet retired or you're newly retired, and in some cases, for those of you that have been retired 5-10 years, and you're kind of stuck, you just don't know what to do, and you feel that you're a little bored, and you're looking for a little bit more excitement in your lives. That's what I want to help you with. In life, some of us jump right into business, work, our personal lives, and get going and do what we need to do. Most of us need a little bit of assistance. We need a little bit of push. We need some ideas. We need maybe a boss to kind of help us along, a partner, someone who can motivate us, or just give us a few ideas on what to do and how to do it. So that's what I'm here for. Retiring or retirement does not have to be scary. It can be quite exciting. But it is something you have to plan for. It can't just happen one day when you decide to retire that everything just falls into place. It usually does not do that. In most jobs, we have a boss. Even those of us very high level of management, you still have a boss. You have requirements, things you have to do. Okay? So we have a stock market that motivates the CEOs and high-level directors and managers. You have bosses that push you in a manufacturing line. Whatever it is that you have done in your life or you're still doing, you have a boss of some type. And that boss gives you projects, things to do, timelines. Finish it by this time, finish it by that time. Motivate these people to do their job, motivate those people to do their job, and make sure that they do it on this timeline. Here's your goals. In retirement, it is you. Sometimes there's a spouse or a partner, but basically it's you. There's no boss saying, here's your timeline, here's what you have to have done, and when, and here's the requirements, here's the materials. No, retirement is just about you and a spouse or partner in planning your lives. In my case, my wife is still working. At times you may even hear her upstairs. Her office is right above me. But she's up there on calls all day long, managing people. And, with COVID, a lot of people are still working out of their homes, and that's our situation. Where I retired in 2020 and decided to do this because my background, why am I here to help you retire? Let me give you a little bit of information about myself. In 1976, I started on the road with Walgreen. And ever since 1976 up until I retired in 2020, I have been on the road. Varying degrees, 50 nights to 100 nights. The last 10 years with LG Electronics, 100 to 130 nights a year on the road. So trust me, I thought about retirement the last 5 years prior to retiring. I thought about what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? What interests, hobbies am I going to entertain and participate in? I thought a lot about it. And because with me in hotels and on the road, planning, flying, traveling, driving, you do have some personal time, but it's not as much as you would think. It's business, it's work, or work-related items that you're doing. So trust me, I have given retirement a lot of thought. So when I did retire, it wasn't such a hardship for me staying at home due to COVID because I hadn't been home 365 days straight since I was 18 years old. This was the last year was the first time that I have actually been home in my bed with my wife for 365 days straight. Now, whether that was a good thing for her, I hope so. I think so. But it was definitely a good thing for me. I love being home. I love my wife, love my family. Growing up, I actually had to plan appointments in my appointment book for doing activities with my children to make sure I went to their games and did their activities. So it's a chore. So now that I'm retired, I am enjoying it and I'm doing a lot of things that I like to do. And I want to help you figure out what it is that you want to do with your life. What I first want to talk to you about is planning. No matter what one does in life, planning is usually required if you want to do it well. So, to plan, I'm going to recommend that you get a journal or a really nice notebook. I like the idea of a journal because it's something that I want you to keep and write in all the time and not discard after a month into it because you think you're done and you don't want to use it anymore. It's something that you want to refer back to. And here's how I want you to set it up. Take the journal and start writing down in this journal everything you would like to do in retirement. Now, don't write the first item being the biggest, most expensive, elaborate thing you want to do. What pops in your head first is what you should write down. And then keep going with that. It could be something very small and personal or something very big like traveling the world. So it's really up to you, but don't categorize yet. Just start writing down and don't stop until you run out of things that you would like to do. Okay. Now that you have written down some of the things that you want to do, now I want you to purchase or go upstairs in your desk and try to find a set of some colored pens. Now, this is just how I would do it. It's not, you can figure out your own system, what works for you. But my idea is take a colored pen and now go through all those items that you marked as things that you would like to do. Now that you've written down a lot of the ideas that you have about things you would like to do or achieve in retirement, I want you to get some colored pens or pencils, and I want you to now choose a color, but mark the color at the top of the page or somewhere on it and state what that color means so you don't forget. We are in retirement, so we're more forgetful. At least I am. So mark what that color means, and let's say red. I'm now going to mark all the things I want to achieve or do in the first year. Mark them all. And you can mark 50 items if you want. You can mark 3 items if you want. It's up to you. No one's dictating. There's no prize for checking the most items. Don't try to overachieve here. This isn't a test where at the end you're the winner of a great prize. It's just about your life and what you would like to do the first year of retirement. So, mark those things in red. That's just the beginning. This thing will get quite involved. Now, go back and choose another color and mark all the things you would like to do in the first month. And just mark those items in a different color. Make sure you go at the top or somewhere you mark that color and state what that means so that you know a month, 2 months, 6 months from now, you know what that color meant when you marked it. What this planning idea will do for you is help you look at some of the things that you would like to do, some of the things you would like to achieve. For me, I need to exercise. All those years of traveling did horrible things to my waistline. Traveling is not easy. Some people go to alcohol. Some people do other things that aren't good for them. What I did was just found restaurants that I really loved, local restaurants in all the different states and cities that I traveled. Boston was probably my best city that I enjoyed the most, but a lot of small towns as well. There's this little restaurant in Salem, Massachusetts that has this lobster roll that is to die for. But all those things, all those great things, they put on weight. So one of the things I wanted to do for myself was start exercising. I have been the last year, not enough, but I'm still working on it. So when you plan, and if you were to write exercise, now I want you to break out in the additional pages of your journal what it is that you need to achieve and do to make that happen. So let's say for me, exercise. So what am I going to do? I want to do more bike riding. I have a nice bike, but I already started planning, and I ordered myself another bike, something a little bit different, a racing bike that I thought I would get out there and at different times use it to just kind of motivate myself to go. It seemed fun. A buddy of mine rides all the time and has great racing bikes. So that's what I wanted to do. My other bike is more of a city bike and a great bike, but I'm going to use it for different type of rides. So I started to list out what I needed: helmet, riding equipment, comfortable cushioned pants for those seats. Write out what it is you need to achieve that item. Use one page to do that within your journal. So another idea: you want to go to England on a vacation. Now, what do you need to achieve that? Passport. You need to plan where you're going to go. You might need a map. How long are you staying? Are you going to stay in a hotel, Airbnb? There's so many things that you might want to do when you get there. You bring your camera, start writing everything down. See, the key to this is planning. The key to enjoying your retirement is planning. When you retire, that next day after retiring, there is no more boss, as I said earlier. You have to do it yourself. Your spouse, partner may help you along, but basically you have to put together the ideas of what you want to do. No one's pushing you. There's no expectations from anybody, just yourself. What you don't want to do is fall into a slump where you just sit and don't know what to do, and you feel like, why did I retire? Why don't I find something else to do? And you start worrying a lot about it, and you're just not as happy. So do some planning. If you're not yet retired, this planning is going to help you considerably. Understand what it is you want to do, your timelines, and keep in mind, plans will change. So when you're marking items in this journal and a plan changes, don't scribble it out so you can't read it anymore. Just draw one line through it. You could even choose another color. Mark lined through it, not yet, and then green and put, or red, better. Stop. I'm not doing this right now. But don't mark it out to where you can't read it later. A year from now, you might go back to that and say, you know what, I do want to do that now. And that idea is still a viable idea. So keep this journal as something that you're going to grow with and keep moving forward with. One of the things that happened to me when I retired was COVID. I retired probably 3 months after COVID started, and things were changing, and they were advising everybody to stay home. And my wife and I did just that. Her company sent her home very quick. As my 3 kids, their companies all sent them home to work. And so life changed, and you have to adapt. So the Yellowstone trip that I wanted to do, the trip to the East Coast, Northeast, because I just love that area. I wanted to go there. I wanted to do some camping, and I had started purchasing equipment to tent camp which at my age, you would think, why do you want to go tent camping? I always wanted to and just never did it since I was in my 20s. And so I wanted to do it again. And so I started planning for that. I started writing down. I made a big list of everything that I wanted. The only mistake I made was the sleeping bag. I bought a child-sized sleeping bag. Big mistake. I went out once camping. Luckily, it was with my wife. And I had her set up the sleeping bags in the tent while I was cooking dinner. Tent was all set up. 3 dogs with us. And I hear this voice from the tent. Jim? Which tent? Jim? Which sleeping bag is yours? And I said, the purple one. She goes, you sure? I go, yeah, the purple one. Like I knew everything because I had planned so well. That sleeping bag could have maybe fit a 19-year-old, 120-pound young man, but not me. I couldn't get in it, and it got cold that night. So that was one big mistake I made. But that aside, I planned for tent camping. It's just something that I wanted to do, and I'm going to continue to do it. But because of COVID, my Yellowstone trip had to be all canceled. My kids just didn't want me to go. Even though I was tent camping, there's hundreds of thousands of people that go to Yellowstone in the major attraction areas. And it's probably something that I shouldn't have done or shouldn't do. So my kids didn't want me to go. And I thought to myself, look, for 20 years or so, I told them, maybe what they should be doing and how they should be doing it. Now that I'm in retirement, if they have some ideas, I'm going to respect those ideas and the advice that they give me. So I didn't go. So I had to shift gears. So what did I do? I love photography. So I wanted to get out and do some of my photography. But then I got the idea also, over the years, believe it or not, I have taken over 75,000 pictures. And I have upstairs on my computer, I can prove it because the computer says in my photos, 75,000 pictures. So the first thing I did was I thought I'm going to go through this computer and I am going to delete all those pictures where, you take a picture smiling this way, smiling that way, then this way, then that way, and just delete some of those extras. I spent a month doing that, and I deleted 15,000 pictures, believe it or not. So I freed up a lot of memory space. Prior to that, to build up to those 75,000, I also realized those early days when the kids were young, I had taken thousands of pictures on film, and all those were on print. They weren't in my computer. So I digitized everything. I bought a scanner and I got a scanner that was really good because I could put 30 photos in at a time. It was hooked to my computer, hit the button, and 30 photos would go through in 15, 20 seconds. And immediately they were on in an application that I had some minor work to do once they were in there. But it took me a couple months to go through 12, 15 years of film prints, but I got them all digitized into my computer. Then I took 3 hard drives and loaded the pictures from my kids and sent them those hard drives. So they had, at that point, with all the deletions I made, 50,000 plus pictures of everything that I'd ever taken. So it was amazing. It was fun. But that was one of the things that I enjoyed doing. But I had to shift gears. I had to shift from traveling to staying at home and working on my photography. So there are many things that you can do. Some of them you're going to have to maybe shift gears every once in a while. The timeline may not work out on some items. So you have to figure out, first of all, what those ideas are at the beginning. So you can start working, start whittling down, start building on one, saying another maybe is waiting, and multiple things you can do at the same time. For example, I want to exercise, told you that. But I also want to work on my photography. And in photography, when I say that, I've always taken pictures. When the kids are home, you got 3 kids at home, there's no shortage of what to take a picture of. No matter what those kids do, you love them to death, and any picture is a great picture of those kids. But now that those kids are all gone, the youngest is 28, and you're at home with your wife, and you can only take so many pictures of her before she's had enough, then you got to figure out what else to do. So I thought, well, I want to expand on this picture taking. I want to get better at it. So what did I do? I got on YouTube and I started watching a lot of different photography videos. And it just helped me build my knowledge of photography, some of the things that are being done these days. What I'm doing now, I've got a setup here doing this film. This is fun to me. I enjoy it. So this was all done by having an idea, a plan of what I wanted to do. And yes, many a time I've had to shift gears. Now, what also happens, and it's happened to me multiple times, is let's first explain my typical morning and afternoon. I get up at 6 every morning. Trust me, without fail. No matter what time I go to bed, which is usually early, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. But I have 3 dogs that wake me up at 6 a.m. every day. Sometimes they attempt at 5:30. I shove them off until it's at least 6. But at 6 and no later, I'm up taking them outside and feeding them. Then after that, I have my tea. I watch the news. My wife comes down about 7. And she has to start work at 7:30, working out of the house, of course. So she has her morning routine that she does. Then I'm, looking at email. I'm upstairs in my office doing a few things, hopefully exercise. I like to stretch in the morning. In the summer, I was going biking. So there were a lot of things I was doing. But every once in a while, I get up at 6. No change there because I have 3 dogs that make sure of it. But sometimes I'm watching the news till 9:30, having my tea. Then I have breakfast, and then I'm checking email, and I'm playing a few games on my iPad, and then I'm watching more TV, and then a good movie comes up on Netflix, and then all of a sudden it's 4 o'clock. And then I'm getting dinner ready because my wife is still working, and I cook dinner. I enjoy it. It's something I enjoy doing. I'm not a great cook, trust me, but I can make a halfway decent meal. So, and I do some of the house cleaning. I actually do 90% of all the house cleaning because, again, she's working, I'm not. So it's just the right thing to do. But that said, there are days that can get away from you. And you know what? That's okay because you're retired and you earned it. You spent 40 plus years working. You have the right to have a lazy day. Now, if that lazy day goes into 2 days, 3 days, a week, a month, then maybe you need to reevaluate what's happening because you don't want to sit in this chair for a month watching TV and just not doing something more in your life. I'm not telling you what to do other than you need to do something else that you enjoy. Especially at an older age, stretching should be a part of everyone's life. Getting in shape, it definitely is a part of mine. Not very good at it yet. My wife is amazing at it. She looks amazing. And she's trying to help me. Sometimes I'm not as good a listener because I am kind of a chocoholic. Love my chocolate. And there was a joke. Went to the doctor. The doctor says, well, Jim, you're going to die unless you stop eating chocolate. He goes, do you have any questions? Yes, I have one question. How long do I got? My wife does not like that joke, but that's how serious I am about chocolate. Hopefully that's not a situation any of you have right now, but that said, I have to spend time exercising and getting this weight off to make myself healthier. So I've been doing it, haven't achieved everything I want, but the whole point of this is that you don't stop trying. and you don't beat yourself up when maybe it doesn't work for you the way you thought it would. You got to keep plugging, you got to keep going, you don't give up. You take that journal out, you mark some more things, and if you didn't do something as well as you would like, make a few notes that might help you. Talk to a few friends. Some people in retirement, they just go. I got a buddy, he's just a few months younger than me. We went to grade school together, high school together. We've just known each other forever. And he is the type of guy who just loves to do things. He gets out. His love is riding bikes. And I mean, I think he's broken in the last 10 years the 100,000 mile mark on riding. He does several thousand miles a summer on his bike. He has several bikes, and he absolutely loves riding. His short rides are my extreme long rides. His short are 35 to 50 miles in a single ride. That to me is a killer ride. And his killer is 100. He does they call it the century ride. So for him, that's what he loves doing. Not everybody has that same motivation to get up every day and do that kind of stuff. So if you're not, I hope to help you with some ideas of maybe how to move forward and do some of these things that you would like to do. Because I want you to be happy in retirement. My future videos on retirement will help those of you who are not yet retired, and for those of you that are, it will help you look at some of the things that you would like to achieve and how to achieve them. What I'd like to ask of you right now is to log into YouTube. You have to log in to be able to subscribe. Once you're logged in, hit that subscribe button. It helps me to continue to do these videos. I appreciate it. Thank you, and I look forward to doing more of these videos for you. I hope you watch them and share them with your friends. Thank you very much.